have the AeroGarden Sprout by Miracle-Gro. So there's actually two versions of the AeroGarden Sprout. There's like the older model you see on the right, and I actually bought this accidentally because I didn't realize that there was two versions of it. So the older version uses a CFL or a compact fluorescent light, and the new version has an LED light, which is significantly better in terms of energy efficiency, and it also lasts a lot longer. So an LED bulb, which it uses up here, is will last about 20,000 hours, whereas if you get the compact fluorescent version, it only lasts for like maybe a few months, six months or so. So that's the older model there. I'm not going to open it because I'm going to return it. But this one here is the newer version, and you can tell because the older versions have this cardboard looking box, whereas the newer LED versions will have this nicer color box, and it will actually say Sprout LED, which means that they will use, it has the LED bulb. So anyways, I'm going to quickly unbox this and set this up, and over the course of weeks and months, I'll show you the progress of the plants I'm growing and just show you an idea of whether you should pick this up or not. I was looking for basically a way for me to grow herbs and vegetables all year round, because where I live, like in the wintertime, it gets pretty cold, so pretty much everything dies in the wintertime if I have it outside. And I wanted to be able to have like basil specifically, and maybe tomatoes or even other types of plants grown indoors in my kitchen area, and just to be able to have fresh vegetables anytime I want. And this looks like a really good way of doing it because you don't have to deal with soils and basically I'm not a really like gardening kind of person, so I don't really have a green thumb. So having something like this where you just kind of set it and forget it and just basically add water, and that's really appealing to me. So I'm gonna show you the process with updated videos and whatnot, and hopefully you can decide whether it's worth it or not. So the first thing I'm gonna do is open this thing up, and right off the bat we're gonna take it out. So I got this from Amazon, and Amazon Prime, as you know, it came in actually the same day, so that's really good thing about Amazon Prime. So I'm just gonna take this out really quickly, and in here you'll see a starter kit. So there's like seed pod kit. There should be 3 seed pods, and there are seeds for the basil, dill, and curly parsley. And this should be the main unit, which has the LED light. So right here you can see right there, that's a whole bunch of LEDs, and this should be a lot brighter and also more energy efficient, and also should last longer than the compact fluorescent version. And here we have the actual unit itself, where you would put the seed pods and the water and the plant food, etc. So it's a very simple unit from what I can see, and you plug this to the wall to basically power the light, as well as like this, I think this is some sort of aerator, or basically when you put it in there it starts bubbling and helps distribute the plant food throughout the unit. And so far it looks pretty good. It's actually pretty small. I was expecting it to be bigger, and that's great because especially if you're trying to put it in an area like in your kitchen, you may not have a lot of space. And definitely in my kitchen, it's a smaller kitchen, but I do have a space for it right next to the really close to the basically stove top, and I'm just gonna put it there, and that's where I'm gonna start growing my plants and everything. So anyways, I'll set that up and I'll show you what it looks like. So here is the AeroGarden in the area where I want it. It's actually in this corner here in my kitchen, and it's kind of next to the stove. But I might move it over a bit, but for the purpose of this video, in order for me to show you how I'm gonna do this, I'm just gonna put it here for now. And it comes with this seed pod kit. So it does have 3 seed pods for basil, dill, and parsley. And I actually bought another kit here, which is the seed pod kit for growing anything. So it doesn't actually have any seeds or anything, but it does come with the plant food and a couple of the seed pods, and then you can put your own seeds in here and then grow whatever you want. I'll show you what's inside the one that came with a kit. So you have this plant food, the liquid plant food, and you're supposed to put a cap full of this every 2 weeks for this model, the Sprout, which is a smaller model. If you have a bigger AeroGarden, you would put more of this plant food, you know, anywhere from 1, 2, or 3 capfuls. And these are the actual seed pods themselves, which has the actual plants, the seeds for them. So there's the basil, dill, and curly parsley. And then when you first start off, you're supposed to put on these domes, I guess, to help trap in moisture and heat. And the first thing you're supposed to do is they tell you that you need to put some water. So you want to fill up the reservoir with some water up to the fill line, I believe. So here is the fill to here. So you just want to get some water. This is just tap water I have. So I'm going to put it over here so not spill anything. I'm just going to fill up quickly. Oops, I spilt a little bit. But basically you want to fill it up till it reaches the top of this opening here, and then you want to put it back in there. And then all it is dropping the seed pods into the holes. And again, just gonna drop that there. And then what you're supposed to do is put on these caps. So here, I'm just gonna put that at an angle so you can see better. I'm just taking off these caps here to put them on. Okay, so that's it. And then what you want to do is with this liquid plant food is 4 millimeters or 1 capful at startup and every 2 weeks. So that's what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open it up. There's actually a seal here that I have to remove. Okay, and then we're going to get a cap full of this and pour it in there. And I'm just gonna shake some of it down and put this away. And then what you're supposed to do is plug it to the wall. So I'm gonna push this back here, and then we're just gonna plug it up to the wall. And the light should come on, as you can see. So the light will stay on for approximately 16 hours. So the instruction says that if you want to, like, for example, want the light to come on at a certain time, what you want to do is unplug it and plug it. Let's say you want it to start at 8 a.m. in the morning. So make sure at 8 a.m. in the morning you plug it in, and that's when the timer for the light will start counting down 16 hours and then turn off. And then every time that you basically want to add more, there will be a reminder that tells you when you're supposed to add like more plant food. And every time you add some, you can reset it by holding the light button for about 2 seconds, I think. That's what it says in the instructions. And then that will reset the timer for adding plant food. And of course, it comes with pretty good instructions with the box, so you should follow that. And I'm just gonna leave it here and see how it goes for the first couple of weeks, and I will do some more updates to this video. This way you can see how well it's growing. But right now, obviously, there is nothing to show you other than how to set it up and how I unboxed it and got it ready. So as you can see, I did it in less than like 5 minutes, so it's actually very easy to do. And for the price, I think I paid like $100 with free shipping and free same-day shipping from Amazon. So that's a really good price for something like this. And if this really works out, I plan on getting maybe the bigger model because I want to grow more tomatoes, because I do like eating a lot of basically basil, tomato, and mozzarella cheese. That's like one of my favorite salads. And maybe grow some vegetables for salsas, like peppers and stuff like that. So I can't wait, and hopefully it works out fine. And I don't know if you can see that, but you can see that it's starting to bubble here too. That is basically the little bubbler mixing. Basically, it's mixing the food, the plant food that you add to the reservoir and keeping the circulation of the water moving. So that's a really good way of making sure the water doesn't basically become stale over time. So here it is about 2 weeks later, and as you can see, it's actually grown pretty well. And what I did was I actually removed the dill and parsley because I don't really eat them. So instead I've replaced them with mint and Thai basil. And so what I did was I got some cuttings from a pho restaurant. I actually had some Thai basil from pho that I took out, and I cut some of it out, and I basically waited so it rooted, and then I planted it in the seed pods. And as you can see, the mint is doing really well. The roots are starting to grow really quickly there. And so I basically just replaced the dill with the mint, and the curly parsley I replaced it with Thai basil. And I kept the other basil in because that's one of my favorite basils. So typically I just eat basil and mint because I like making salsas, and I like making tomato and basil salads. So you don't really need to have your plants grow from a seed. So if you do have, say, other herbs that you have in your garden, you can cut them and then make sure that they root, and then you can plant them into the seed pods. So that's another way to get plants started. You don't actually have to germinate them from a seed, which I really like. And this aquaponic system works really well in making them grow. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you like what you see, subscribe to my channel, comment, like, and share, and I will see you in the next video.